I paid 5 different designers on Fiverr to create 5 different pieces of artwork for different aspects of my business, and this is what I received. And today I'm going to show you the results of all 5 of them. Not only that, but I'm also going to give you another option that you can use that's going to be 1, a lot quicker than using some of these different designers on Fiverr, 2, a lot better looking, and 3, can bring your concept to life to be able to send over to one of these designers so they can use it as reference, so that way you can get your point across a bit easier. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. And the first time that I used one of these different Fiverr designers was to recreate my logo. Now, when I wanted to recreate my logo, I didn't fully know what I had in mind, but I did know that I pretty much want the exact same thing, except I wanted to look either a bit more professional or a bit more serious. Now, I found this one designer on Fiverr and they had pretty good reviews. The pricing was pretty reasonable, so I figured, you know what? Let me see what happens. Now, for this one, what I ended up paying was $158.25, but I ultimately canceled it because it was not worth it in the least. Check this out. Originally, the reason I went with this designer was because I saw these samples that they had. This gorilla looks pretty good. This fishing logo looks pretty good. This wolf looks good. This cat looks pretty decent. It looks interesting. And at the time when I was looking for this, which I think this might have been a few years ago, but at the time when I was looking, I figured, you know what, this art style, it might be able to fit my brand. It might be able to fit my logo. So I said, let's go ahead and do it. I messaged them my requirements and I said this. I asked them how much would they charge to redesign a logo. My logo's already done, but I just, wanted a bit better. I specified that it needs to be green and black. I'm open to ideas with colors, but the eyes of the cat need to be green. And I included my logo. After some back and forth, we pretty much established what we needed. And I told them, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get to work. And this is what they came up with. So first off, I don't see absolutely any green. I don't know why they decided to make the eyes red. And the cat just doesn't look natural. The art style, it's not my favorite, but that is what I did agree to, so fine. But the paw of the cat, it doesn't look natural. It doesn't look right. It looks off. At the time, we didn't have AI, at least not the way that we have it now. So this was definitely not made with AI. This was all hand done, which, it's not bad. Good for something that's hand drawn, but it's not, it's awkward, to say the least. But on top of that, the font itself doesn't look good. It looks too playful. So I messaged them back. I told them that, the eyes and the claw marks, they need to be green. At the very least, the eyes need to be green. And it took them a bit to get back to me. They had already delayed my order the first time by a few days. And then this next time, it was just taking them way too long to get back to me. I think it was 3 or 4 days. And finally, I said, you know what? Just forget it. I'm going to cancel the entire order. And I canceled it. Honestly, I did not like the art style in the least. It did not represent the thumbnails that were shown to me at the beginning. To an extent, it kind of did because of the art style, but just the cat just does not look anatomically correct. I don't know. It's this paw that's getting to me, and the text too. It's just overall, it just was not a good delivery. Now, this next one, I paid $63.30 total. I think that included the tip as well. And what I wanted here was packaging. So for those of you that don't know, I have my own line of sublimation paper, and if you're interested in this, you can get it over at necoprints.com. But when I was first coming out with this, I needed to design the packaging. I needed to design the cover for it. And that's not really something I'm too good at, and honestly, I just didn't want to waste my time with it either. So I figured, let me just go on Fiverr. And the first person that I found was this one. I looked at the different samples that they have, and I thought, you know what? They look pretty good. So I went to work, I messaged them, I told them what I needed, and these were the first things that they sent me. So overall, it looks really good. This is actually exactly what I wanted, but then I kind of wanted a few changes here and there. The guy understood, and then he sent me this. Now, obviously, this is not my logo. This logo is actually one that a friend did for me, and I was testing out. I ended up not going with it, but obviously, this is a lot better than what the other person that sent over. It's a bit different, but it came out pretty cool. Ultimately, though, we did settle on this, and I'm extremely happy with it. For $63, this packaging came out really good. The design for the packaging came out really good. All right, this next one is actually for a brand I wanted to start with my wife because she was very into it at the time, and it was called Mommy and Me. She wanted to do certain types of t-shirts that matched for mom and son, because honestly it's kind of hard to find for some reason. So we needed to come up with a logo for the Instagram, and this is what I found through Fiverr. So I paid $35.66 for this, and I wanted something that was simple and minimalistic, something that was just maybe line art with a mom holding her son's hand. So looking through Fiverr, I found this one, and I submitted my requirements, and these were the first things that they sent over. So this overall is actually not that bad. It's simple, minimalistic, and it's pretty much exactly what I wanted. I wasn't fully happy with it, so I asked them for a few revisions. We brainstormed a little bit back and forth, ultimately to come up with these other options. This one was cool. I liked the font, the background was cool, but I didn't really like the sunglasses. This one was the one that I ended up going with, and I thought this was perfect. It was the two silhouettes. The hand was a little bit awkward here, but that's all right. For 35 bucks, I mean, what can you expect? The text looks good, mommy and me. The mommy looks pretty cool because it's fancy, and then me is a bit cooler because it's for a boy. And then this little block around it, just it gave it that little finishing touch, which I really liked. And then these were just a few of the other samples that they sent over. And then finally, when I chose it, he sent it over like this, and then he sent over this mock-up over here, which actually looks really nice. So for 35 bucks, this was definitely worth it. It came out pretty good and it worked. Sad to say though that the brand itself didn't really take off the way that we wanted it to, and we didn't really put too much effort into it. So it was one of those things that you tried and just didn't work out. But to go along with that, I also went on Fiverr to look up a few different designs for t-shirts. And I found one person who does bulk designs. So they'll give you a ton of different ones for like 15 bucks. 15 bucks gets you 5, 10 for 30, and then 20 for 60. For this I went with a $30 option. And honestly, the designs that they gave me, I mean, I don't know what else I could have expected. These are designs that obviously they probably didn't make them. They probably used templates, but these are probably also the same ones that they use for everybody else. Like honestly, everything that you see here most likely came from a template. So look at this one. First my mother, forever my friend. I mean, they're pretty good. Mother and daughter, not always eye to eye, but always heart to heart. And it has a little one here. Like they look good, but they're very simple. They're kind of more gifts that you would give for like Mother's Day or something like that. It's not necessarily something that you would really just purchase to, you know, wear around every day, or something that's or something that actually looks good that somebody's going to purchase to wear. These are kind of like gifts that you would give out. So it didn't really fit the style that we were looking for. But I mean, I had already paid the guy, and I wasn't expecting him to redo every single one with a completely different style. So I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and finish it up. And honestly, for 30 bucks, it's all right if that's the art style that you're looking for or the type of product that you're trying to sell. But for me, it really wasn't fitting the brand. It wasn't fitting what I was going for. So I ended up just not using them. And the last one that I used was for a skateboard design. So I wanted to do something for Neko prints, like for a skateboard, and I wanted it to be retro. I wanted it to be something from back in the day. So I thought, you know what? Which, by the way, for those of you that don't know, Gigapets used to be those little digital pets that always died. The ones that I bought were always the Gigapets, but they were more commonly known as Tamagotchis. Pretty sure most of you know them by Tamagotchis. But I wanted to do something like that for a skateboard. And I thought, you know what? Let me see who can design this for me. So I went on Fiverr, and I found this guy. Now, he charged me $30 for this design. And honestly, it came out pretty good. I'm actually really happy with it. I like it. So I gave him the concept. I told him what I wanted. I gave him an example of a Gigapet and a logo that I had. And this is what he came up with. So Neko up here with the little Gigapet font, it looks kind of handwritten, which is it kind of adds to the charm. But besides that, you have the screen in the middle, which is actually very well done. It has my logo in the little 8-bit style, the different little icons that were available at the time on the Tamagotchis, and the few buttons and a couple of scratches to just represent Neko prints. So overall, he did a really good job. I actually really liked it. Now, I did get the skateboard printed at one point, but I think I ended up giving it to my little cousin, and just that was the end of that. But on top of that, he also provided a couple of mock-ups, which actually looked pretty good. So honestly, overall, for the price of $30, this guy did a pretty good job designing the skateboard. Nowadays, what I do though is I don't go on Fiverr for designing anymore, just because it's too much back and forth. It takes way too long. And honestly, there's a lot better options at this point, especially with AI. So with that being said, what I want to show you now is going to be Kittl. So Kittl has an AI text to image generator, which is absolutely phenomenal, and it works amazingly. Check this out. So right now we're at Kittl, and what we're going to do is run over to Tools and AI Image Generator. Now you can start Kittl for free. You can get the free trial, and you get daily credits that you can use to download different images. Now, the only thing about using the free version is that you are going to have a limit of 72 DPI, meaning your prints are not going to be too high quality. For best results when it comes to printing, you're going to want to have 300 DPI. So just so you know, if you do want access to the high resolution images, you are going to need to sign up for the Pro subscription. But if you use my code NECOPRINTSTT, you'll get 25% off either your monthly or your yearly subscription. Now, if you want to check that out, just check out the description down below. The link to Kittl will be down there, along with the code that you need to use once you click on that link. But overall, it's actually not that expensive. Kittl's very reasonably priced for the base Pro membership, which is more than enough. That's what I use. So this is actually something that I was working on earlier for a 4-year-old's birthday party. And as you can see, this is actually very well done. So it already took off the prompt, but what I had written was a cute mermaid blowing out 4 candles on a birthday cake with a few fishy friends around her. I asked for one that was a bit darker skinned and one that was a bit lighter skinned, and these were the 2 options that it gave me. And quite honestly, they both came out absolutely fantastic. But besides that, let's go ahead and actually start a new project. And let's see if we can recreate my logo, or at least a version of my logo, to see what AI can come up with versus that first logo that they gave me. So DPI 300 inches. I want to be able to print this big if I end up going with it. So let's do 20 inches by 20 inches. Create. Now, the cool thing about Kittl is the fact that you can actually download your images in PNG, JPEG, or even SVG. So this is our artboard. Let's go ahead and click on image generator. And let's describe our image. So I'm going to want a mean looking cat scratching and leaving 3 claw marks in place of the E in the word Neko. So I'm getting kind of specific on this, and I'm really not sure how this is going to come out, simply because AI text to image, when it comes to telling it to write some words, it can get kind of wonky. And in this case, I'm actually asking it to replace the E with claw marks. So let's just see what it comes out with. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, we can always just switch it up a little bit and then do it ourselves with some of the included elements that Kittl offers. Now, with this, we need to choose an image style. So image styles, I don't like going with, because an image style is going to be a box. It's going to be a square, and your image is going to be in there. So this works if that's what you want, but what I want is clip art style. Clip art style is going to be just the image with no background. This is perfect for t-shirts, logos, pretty much anything that you can think of when it comes to printing on products. And besides that, you also have the vector art styles and patterns, just in case you want to come up with patterns. But for this, I can either go with a t-shirt graphic, a watercolor graphic, or a detailed drawing. You can also go with cartoon, a mascot, kawaiis, and a pencil drawing, pixel art, and nursery art. Nursery art's actually pretty interesting. But for this, what we're going to do is the detailed drawing, because those are a bit more serious. And so are the t-shirt graphics. So we're going to try both. But to start, let's do the detailed drawing. All right, so this is what I came up with. And first off, it did not replace the E the way I wanted it to, but it actually looks really good. Like, the eyes came out green. It has a couple of claw marks on the back. It looks like it's scratching at the screen. Honestly, the only thing I would do is probably just make the E claw marks. That's it. Honestly, it came out really good. I'm not going to use this as my logo, but I am going to go ahead and keep this because this is fantastic. So I took off the whole thing about putting Neko on, and I left a mean looking cat scratching and leaving 3 claw marks. The cat has green eyes and the claw marks are green. Let's see if that gives us a better result. Okay, so this is what I came up with. And it does look pretty good. Like, you could put the text Neko under this and it would look decent. It would look pretty cool. Although this isn't fully what I'm looking for. So while it wasn't exactly what we're looking for, it can work with a little bit of editing. Just toss it into Photoshop, which is usually what I do with my AI images, and just give it a few finishing touches. So besides that, let's try to do the Mommy and Me logo. So for this, I'm actually going to go with a vector style. I'm going to do vector art. So for this, what I'm giving it is some pretty simple instructions, a logo featuring a mom and son holding hands with the text Mommy and Me. Now, this was the first option that it gave us, and it looks pretty good. Not a huge fan of the eyes, so we might end up taking those off. But besides that, it actually looks pretty good. It did a good job with the text, and the overall message, it looks okay. It's pretty simple, not necessarily very modern, but we can change that. So what I'm going to do now is choose line art and do a modern logo featuring a mom. So this is what I came up with line art, and as far as line art goes, it's pretty interesting. Not necessarily what I would go with, but for some people this could be it. But I do want to try one more time using the vector art and asking it for a modern minimalistic logo. And this was the result. So it looks somewhat similar to this other one. Let's put them side by side. So they do have somewhat of a similar touch since they are both using the same vector art style. But since I did tell it to give me something a bit different, something a bit more modern, it did kind of simplify it by taking off all of the spikes and just taking off the face and everything else. But overall, the text looks good. It works. This could be something that you can use, serve as inspiration for your own, or to simply use it if it's what you end up liking or if what your customer likes. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you can go ahead and download these in SVG format. So that's really good and very convenient, especially if you're going to be printing shirts with heat transfer vinyl or cutting decals with regular adhesive vinyl. So what did you think of Kittl? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Remember, if you want to try out Kittl, you can save 25% off of your subscription by using my code NECOPRINTSTT and checking out the link down in the description below. Quick disclaimer, that is an affiliate link, so if you click it and you subscribe, I am going to get a small commission from your order, which, by the way, if you do go ahead and do that, I highly appreciate it. It really does help out the channel and it helps me out as well as the family. So again, huge thank you for checking out this video, for watching it all the way to the end. Remember, make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos. My name is Mario with NECOPRINTS, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.